pointless. We laugh, we argue, we always have fun. Six voices unite, spreading love for San Antonio Football Club. Good Sunday morning preview for the San Antonio FC Fancast. My name is Harry, and I just got to get this out of the way because AJ said for me to do this. Rafa, what happened to Real Madrid yesterday? At home, taking the L. Just saying. Early morning, way to start the show.
Valencia happened.
I didn't even know the score, and AJ was like, you need to talk shit to Rafa. And I was like, so I was getting ready to call him. He's like, I ain't talking shit to him. I'm like, come on, man. You got to man up. If you want to talk shit, talk shit. But we are here to talk about Phoenix. I did a preview yesterday with Reese from PHNX Rising. If you haven't listened to it, it's about 35 minutes if you can. It's a good show. Gives some good insight in regards to the Phoenix side for they're here. And, like I said here, got a little tidbit here once we get into kind of player injury news. Transactional side a little bit with Phoenix because they are the San Antonio of old where their injury list is long and suspension list is long, surprisingly. Royce, how are you? Thank you for getting up bright and early.
I'm here. I'm excited. Sunday game, nationally televised game on CBS, big boy CBS. It's going to be a blast. The weather's really nice. It's hoodie and shorts weather. I'm excited.
Matt doesn't seem to like it. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Oh, my God. Did anybody sleep? I feel like I didn't sleep.
Like a baby. Are you kidding me?
I did not
awesome
sleep.
Outside.
I'm too excited for today. I did not sleep. And supposedly from what I've heard, they're playing the game at Civic Park, so that's a bonus.
Interesting.
That's downtown, right? For the NCAA.
Yeah, that's the Civic Park is there by the convention center. It's the new build.
Well, I think because I think it's on CBS, right? So it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense for it to have it. But yeah, to me, like I said here, it's a big day for San Antonio, or it's a big weekend for San Antonio. The Valero Open, the Final Four.
Correct.
Mission season opened up. SAFC, a nationally televised game against one of our
nemesis. And the biggest event of them all, we have the Scrabble State Championships in town. I don't know if you saw that news article, but that's not a joke. That's a thing that's also happening this weekend. So everything's happening in San Antonio.
Got it. We gotta give props to the nerds. Got you. I'm okay with it.
It's actually the old people, but I don't know where it's at. It was on my essay, and the news article goes into some of the contestants, and one of the contestants, one of the main contenders, was like, "Yeah, I'm from Houston, so it's nice to cheer on the Houston Cougars, but I have my own thing to win this week." And it's like, all right, but let's pump your brakes there on the Scrabble Championships. But anyway,
I'm good at words.
Valero Texas Open. You have all the PGA pros in town. Final Four, you have a massive amount of people in town, and then a nationally televised game this afternoon. So very exciting weekend in town.
So let's kind of get to the start. I guess the first transaction news doesn't affect this game, but it is something that we do need to mention. April 15th, or was it April 15th, right? Away at Union Omaha for Open Cup. Was it the 15th?
April 15th. Yeah. So the email we got from the teams at April 16th, but both releases from on social media from the league and from SAFC. April 15th at, I believe, 7 p.m., we will be playing Union Omaha in Omaha for the third round of the U.S. Open Cup.
If they win that, they'll have the opportunity to play. I'm almost guaranteeing it's going to be Austin FC, but either Austin FC or Dallas.
Correct.
And then in the quadrant will be Houston. The Dynamo will most likely be one there. So it'll be interesting to see how they do the draw for it here. But if San Antonio does get by Union Omaha, And I will say Union Omaha is not the typical lower league. They are, I think, two-time, if memory serves me right, League One champ. They're historically one of their better programs. They are a team that historically does very well in Open Cup. So for Coach Lamosa, it'll be interesting to see how he handles the Open Cup. Just because this is a quality opponent, it is an away opponent. And if they win, most likely they won't be getting a home match in round 4 either. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they handle their player rotation and depth. And speaking of player rotation, only one on the injury report. Not shocking, Mitchell Taintor, questionable. However, when you listen to the was it USL All Access with Kerr and
Watts.
Watts, he didn't make it seem like he wasn't playing, but he also said he couldn't really say. So to me, I wonder if we get in kind of the discussion if this is a game where, because we do have the depth, maybe you rest them to let that calf, I'm pretty sure it's a calf based on where they had the ice at the end of the game, where they showed him on TV. Give that an extra week of healing. But any other injury news that you've heard, Royce, or any other transactions that you want to mention?
Not at all. And the same thing last week with not putting Alex Grieve on the
Oh, that's right.
18 and letting him stay home. I think it's going to be kind of a similar thing for Mitch. He may be on the bench, but I think they leave him off the squad. They tell him, "Hey, take a break, take a rest." But at the same rate, it's a big game, so who knows? Maybe they'll. And also Yamosa already early in the season, he's shown a prevalence to squad rotation. So I mean, who knows? But at the same rate, we do kind of have 3 number ones there, center back with Cronali, uh, Alexi, and Taintor. So probably not going to miss a beat on the back line, which is good for us, and also good for Mitch because he needs a rest after last week. So, but other
So,
than that, I really haven't heard anything.
but I do think if Mitch can play, just how the mentality that he has, he will want to play. But I do think, and this is it's a little bit of a slight to Phoenix. Um, just defensively, they're such a mess. However, offensively, they're gonna be a challenge. So it's one of those things where I think going in on paper, you think, hey, this uh, should be comfortable for San Antonio with just how how little depth that and the youth that Rising is playing. But we both have seen Phoenix Rising and San Antonio throughout their history because the head-to-head record is 6 wins for San Antonio, 6 wins for Phoenix, and 3 wins or 3 draws for uh, for uh, um,
For their
uh,
head, for their
for
historic
for
head to head.
for head to head.
Yeah.
However, at Toyota Field, it's 4 wins for San Antonio. The 3 draws have happened at Toyota Field, and one loss at Toyota Field. So historically, Phoenix has held their own at Toyota Field, and like I said, I think one of the most memorable matches was I think it was a 3-3 thriller from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where they came back and drew extremely late. But
What's
um,
wild? What's wild is that one loss that San Antonio's had to Phoenix was during the 2022 championship run. So
mhm.
that's a wild little fact there. We just could not beat them that season for whatever reason. So
Injury?
wow,
No, they
Was
just
it an injury?
they owned us.
they just own it. So the
We lost
game
both matches to
in
them.
yeah, the game, if I remember correctly, in 2022, there was a lack of availability to the point where we had what was that kid's name? Heinrich Schallschag.
Yeah,
We had him have to finish up the last like 30 minutes of the game, and we lost 2-0. But um,
And the game in Phoenix,
the game in
we
Phoenix,
had so many opportunities,
Yeah.
so many.
exactly.
Like on an average day, we would have walked away with that. But it's
we
just you couldn't hit
if I
it.
remember correctly, we doubled their shots on goal, but they beat us 3-0. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it just did.
Yeah.
It was just it was one of those fluke things. But we got the star. Following year, they got the star.
Right. But at
for
the
that
at
year.
the same rate, I will say in this league, there's a lot of parity. So any team can win on any day. I mean, just look at yesterday. And I mean, look at the week before. North Carolina beat Charleston. That's kind of a shocker result, but they kind of put it together. Last night, Vegas beat Orange County. Orange County is supposed to be one of the better teams in the league. So a lot of parity in the league. So Harry, let's go through lineups.
So through the lineups here, we'll start with Phoenix. They typically run a 4-1-4-1 with Cabal up top. Jarrell Margarita is probably their star, although Jonathan Check on his Bluish Moon preview, which if you haven't checked out, please do. Went with Hope Avayu, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He does lead the team, the Phoenix team in 1 second here, 3 goal contributions, 2 assists and a goal, and with 6 chances created. And then Noble Okello and Sako, and then they mentioned that there's a couple of guys that they have on the bench. However, for Phoenix, they're missing their starting number was 8, and then their center back and probably their best player, Papi Marboy.
Their captain,
their captain, talking to Reese and Michael Vandross. They had no idea who was going to play the position. The other guy, Braxton Montgomery, 34, he's 18 years old, out of their academy. He's got potential, but like I said, through here, they also mentioned that the wingbacks or the fullbacks tend to drift in. So for SanAntonio that likes to go to the outside and cross in, there's going to be opportunities through there. And then they mentioned Tristan Henry, questionable goalkeeper. They do have Patrick Rakowski as well, who 4 years ago with Orange County was solid, but hasn't really played a lot since then. So their back's a mess for that here, but their offense is still very rising-ish for that here. So from the Phoenix side, like I said here, the back line's still a little bit of mystery, like who's going to play there. It will not be Darnell King, even though when I put this together, I thought it was going to be Darnell King, former SanAntonio captain and all-around great guy. But he retired again after the last match, so it will not be him. As far as on our side, if Mitchell's not out, I think we all agree that Sohei is going to be going in, correct?
Agreed.
So then Nelson Blanco still get the start and Buckmaster?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I would say subbed.
Who?
No, I'm saying I would think they would be subbed in.
So
Well,
who do you
No.
think?
Never mind.
Who do you think starts?
Never mind. I take that back.
Dynamite drop in, Matt.
I know my bad.
To me, Gomez or Buckmaster, I think that's one where you kind of flip back and forth.
So you wouldn't start Nicky Hernandez?
Are you taking out Jimmy Madronda?
Okay, never mind.
It just that's the question: is who comes
in? No, I don't want to. After that goal, no, I'm not doing that.
Nicky's
but at
great.
the same time, but that's it. That's the thing too. Nicky helps out a lot, also
defensively, right?
Yes, and I think he's great because he's a little problem on the field for the other team. But yeah, I don't know how you would do it.
I think LaCava gets a start, Jorge gets a start, Soto gets a start, Canali, Sanchez, obviously, by default. Blanco, I think, is one of those players that once he's healthy, he starts. Buckmaster, I can see rotation, and then it seems like Luke Hawkinson's side, the 7, and Dogo Pacheco up top seems to be where they kind of rotate quite a few players. It's been a couple of games for Juan Agudelo. Is this a game?
I'm about to say, why is 17 on the bench?
Come on, Matt.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. I think Agudelo gets in this game. I think
But he,
Diego comes to the right wing, or he gets on the bench and Hackinson gets the start. So
what about Grieve if he's healthy?
I think Agudelo gets the start in this match. I
Okay.
think we're gonna have a hold. I think this is gonna call for somebody that's gonna hold the ball up more than just run at the defense with just two guys. Because when Grieve starts, we start like that 5-3-2 more.
Mhm.
Um, and I think this calls more for Agudelo maybe to hold up the ball or to be that true striker. Like you said, we're probably going to get a lot of joy on the wings to cross the ball in.
Mhm.
And the guy you want on the end of those crosses is more Agudelo with the experience and than Grieve with the speed. So I think Agudelo gets a start.
And then let's not forget, was it Paderas? Luis Andres Paderas, 32. He's been in camp a couple of weeks
But
now.
this, yeah, he is in camp. Um, we'll see. He may get a sub opportunity, and we'll see what he's got. And we'll see if he can put a couple late goals on Phoenix to help you out with that 4-0 prediction, Harry.
If I'm thinking about it now, I would put Greaves for Hawkinson.
What?
Yeah.
No, it'd be Hawkinson or
No.
Pacheco.
Yeah, Hawkinson or Pacheco on the right, and then Jake on the left. I don't know who you would switch with Jake.
I
Maybe
I just have
just
that
those
feeling.
three.
That just doesn't look right. How that looks right now. I don't know why.
Looks good to me.
But to be honest with you, I have no idea what coach is going to do.
Exactly.
Just
We know the
Yeah.
formation. We know
Well, the
kind of the rough
formation's
tactical
flexible
goals.
as well, too, though. So he's adjusted it a little bit, but this is generally I think we know, like I said, Sanchez, Pernelli, Soto. I think Madrandra at this point is kind of a lock. Lacava, Jorge, and then but you've got, to me, Buckmaster. I don't think's locked in a spot. I don't think the right wing with Luke or Pacheco has locked in, and then the up top. I think we're going to see a revolving door up top, depending on matchups and what's needed with the
Because
Agudelo spot.
didn't you say earlier that their back line likes to be two up front, right?
It depends. Sometimes he'll do
No. I'm talking
he'll
about Phoenix.
for Phoenix.
Yeah.
They run that 1-4-1.
But I'm saying earlier you said their back line likes to be two forward, correct?
No,
No,
the fullbacks
compact,
inside, too
Um.
compact, too narrow.
compact.
So they get caught inside. Through there. So that's where, like, on the wings, you're going to have probably some more opportunity for that here. And Phoenix is real young this year. This isn't the typical Phoenix Rising team. There's a lot of North Texas, because that's where their coach came from, is North Texas. So there's a lot. In not saying that there's not talent with them, but they're a real young team. They're still trying to figure it out. And they're just
Yeah,
been they have 9 people on the injury report, and then of course the two suspensions with was it Carl Sante and Papa Marboy. But the fact that I asked both, Mike, who's one, basically the Matt version of them, as far as with the, in their supporters group, and Superfan, he's like, I don't have any clue on who they're going to put in there. And same with Reese, who does the media availability for PHNX Rising show there. So it'll be interesting to see how they how they fill that role. So, looking at predictions here, just because through here, we got 2 weeks
shut
to kind of go
up. We don't
through
want to
here.
see that. We don't need to see it. Keep
Well,
going.
you did well in week 4. You beat me 4-3. However, this week, normally we do this Saturday morning. I did get Royce's picks in. I threatened him with getting Matt's, having Matt substitute. I'm wondering if he should have went
Matt
with
would have
Matt.
done better. Matt would have done better. Let's be honest.
So this week here, Detroit and Monterey Bay drew 0-0. Not very exciting game. Rhode Island went to Oakland and took out Oakland 3-0. Loudoun, Hartford. Always pick against Hartford right now because they are just. I don't know how Burke survives, and Burke's a good coach. I don't know what's going on, but they're absolute trash. 2 more red cards for Hartford. They lost 2-0 to Loudoun. Charleston got by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, you got to start asking questions. Indy and North Carolina, we both went with Indy. However, North Carolina, I think, got a late equalizer to create the draw. I took El Paso over Lexington. You took Lexington. El Paso got it. Lexington's fallen off. When we came back and took their heart,
they really
tied
have.
up.
Yeah.
They ended up losing to us. They lost their Open Cup game in it wasn't even close, right? I want to say they got blown out, and then
they got blown out. They got blown out 3-0 by Columbus Crew too. Yeah.
So, and then El Paso's been solid. So I went with them. You went with Lexington, and El Paso delivered. I went with the best result possible for Sac Republic Lou City, and that was a draw for San Antonio. It ended up being a draw. Lou City gets a Amadou Diallo goal at 90+8 after Pirano scored the nice chip from distance on an open net for Sac Republic, and I think it was around the 60th minute, somewhere around there. Shock of the night, Las Vegas at home getting the win over Orange County. Whenever I get on Orange County's side, they tend to lay an egg, so maybe I should have been on their side here. Which then brings us to San Antonio rising. I'm already on record saying San Antonio 4-0 in our discussions. Royce is like, well, obviously I'm going to pick San Antonio. And I was like, well, is it obvious? Because last week you picked a draw. But, hey.
Yeah, last week I thought Lexington would be very formidable, and I was right for the first 19 minutes of that game. In this one, Phoenix they're thin. Last week they had an unretired Darnell King for a game who apparently retired again. They have 2 red card suspensions as well. But this is a team that you still can't hold. You can't take lightly. They still have dangerous pieces. Give me 2-1 San Antonio.
Oh, wow. Matt, any predictions from you? I know you don't count in that little head-to-head, but any prediction from you?
I'm gonna keep mine in my mind because I'm superstitious as hell.
All right. So we're now to the Matt show, part of the show here. Tell us what's planned at the FTC 210 Alliance tailgate this afternoon. And Diet Kool-Aid has San Antonio winning 3-0. The only thing that scares me about this game is everybody thinks San Antonio's going to win, and we have seen San Antonio not deliver when that happens.
But anyway, Matt, what's going on with the tailgate today? Give us the rundown on all the festivities, please.
So I know we'll be cooking. I know we have Chiba Hut bringing some stuff out as well. Shout out to them. They're finally our sponsor, as well as getting them into SAFC. So we're doing a little partnership with them. So Chiba will be there. We'll be cooking, and of course we'll have Ranger Creek there, and then between hopefully about an hour to hour and a half before 2:30, we'll try to do the piñata, do it for the kids, and then yeah, right at 2:30 we're marching in. No ifs, ands, or buts. I am not gonna stop it. So yes, we are marching in today. I got a good amount of people who responded, so that's the plan to march into the stadium today.
Awesome.
And it'll
I've heard
start at 11.
Well, 12.
12.
Give everybody time to wake up. I mean,
Fair
because
enough.
they are having a race, a marathon right now, or a 5K. So that's going on right now at Toyota Field. Because I was trying to get us to go earlier, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't do that. They're doing a 5K, so we can't do it right now. You got to go at 11."
But by the time everything will pick up, be closer to 12
Yeah.
for that here. All right. So AJ has a game, so I will be racing over to Shirts. I think he's playing team from Lions. Yeah, I think it's a team from Lions that they're playing in Directors Cup, and then racing back, dropping him off, and then racing back over. So should be a lot of fun. I want to thank my final thought here as we get out of here. I want to thank Chris Leha and the guys for the new MCS hat. Last night met up with them and his gang. Had a good time. Wing Daddies. Had a couple of beers. Had some wings and a lot of fun banter back and forth. Hope he enjoys the seats for that here. Gave him and his family. My seats, I'll probably be in the bunker or the barrio barrier or whatever we're calling in 119. We got to come up with something better.
Tell Rafa.
But after getting called out by our buddy in Germany about, because I had Reese is 18 on there in college doing media, and then Michael looks young as well. So I had to clean up the look a little bit, so bring down the age, so I'm not looking like Grizzly Adams for it here. So cleaned up the look. Matt, you bringing your wife out to the game with Rafa or not?
No, I ain't
No.
got nobody right now with me.
Oh,
What do you? Nah, that's Rafa taking his wife. But I mean, my final thought is thanks to I'll give a shout out to Area 210 podcast for having me on, giving us a shout out as well. To
Joe's a
tell
good guy.
to get some a little bit of viewers for us and the other two podcasts that I mentioned, Puro and Lance's also. Um, yeah, that was a great show. Everybody check them out. Uh, yeah, it was shocking how much Joe knew about everything going on. So shout out to him. Uh, Everybody just come out, have fun. Uh, don't be like Robert, probably drinking already. So
Well, it's okay to be drinking, but just make sure you get your Uber, have a designated, Rafa
exactly.
that can take you to and from. Be smart, don't be silly. For that here. Royce, your final thought, and then get us out of here.
my final thought, and I think I'm going to do this as tradition, is going to be the weather forecast. So the weather forecast for the game is going to be nice. It's going to be hoodie and shorts weather. It's going to be 60 at kickoff. It's going to warm up to about 62, and then that's about the high it's going to get. So it's going to be in the low 60s. If you're a typical San Antonio resident, bring a blanket, bring gloves, bring some warmers, because 60 is cold here.
Is there going to be wind?
I think there's going to be a bit of wind today. Yeah, it's already windy. I think it's going to continue. So it's going to be windy. It's going to be in the 60s. So probably going to feel like in the 50s. So definitely bring blankets, bring jackets, bring whatever you need to be comfortable. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be nationally televised on CBS once again, and looking forward to it. Should be a good one.
So, do want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you can, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give a thumbs up. Give a comment. Helps with the promoting the show. If you do listen on the podcast network of choice, typically Spotify, Apple are the two main ones. If you can, please give a rating. If you can have it set up for download, that way it automatically downloads. And for that here, thank you to we got about looking at the analytics, we got about 25 to 30 people that listen every week. So thank you to every one of those. I will also say the 50-50 podcast is doing a show later on tonight to wrap up the high school soccer, with Coach Kano and Rafa will be on there. So through that, and shout out to Southwest. for making the 5A Division One Boys State Championship on Friday. They'll be up in Georgetown going against Walnut Grove. So shout out to them, and Wimberley and Davenport, the girls as well. Shout out to them for making the state finals. Region 4 represented well for that here. Although there is lots of drama, which tune into there to get the Progresso drama of them having to forfeit a state semifinal match for that here that broke at 3 o'clock on the day that they were supposed to play. So a lot of drama for that here, but please tune in. I don't know if we're doing the recap show tonight or later on this week here. We haven't determined that. I think it's going to depend on, one, how the game goes. Number two, how much Matt drinks today here for that here. So to be determined whether we're going to do the recap show tonight or maybe Monday or Tuesday, depending on availability of family and resources. So, but what's life without goals? We are out of here. Hopefully everybody has a great day. Please, if you can, record the SAFC game if you're going to be at the stadium, so that way the metrics get it. And please, if you can, watch it, for that here. Hope you have a great day.